You're way too early. Finals prediction, winner, and MVP.
Oh boy. Uh,
I hate doing this early.
I
yeah,
hate it too.
me too.
I hate it too,
So
but
way too early. Way too early. I'll go with the Lakers out of the West, and I'll go with the Bucks out of the East, and I'll say
okay.
the Lakers win the title with LeBron as the Finals MVP.
Okay.
Is this what you think or what you want?
That's what
Ha,
he want.
that's funny. That's what I think.
Man, I hate going repeat champions. It just
Yeah.
feels wrong to me sometimes. Maybe just because it's pretty unlikely. We see it throughout the years, but I don't know if the Nuggets are going to be able to do it. I just feel like right now they might be the safest pick.
Mhm.
Um, I got Bucks and Nuggets. I don't know who I have winning it yet, but definitely I have Bucks and Nuggets at this point in time. I got
You gotta give us a winner and an MVP.
yeah. I'll go Bucks. I'll go Bucks. Giannis winning MVP.
I'm taking Boston out of the East.
Okay.
Um, the main reason why I'm doing that is because I really value Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
I really think he brings a dynamic to this team that they desperately need, more so than Marcus Smart was able to bring. I do think the turnovers that we saw in the NBA Finals a couple years ago with Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown, I really think that's going to become non-existent. That Drew Holiday's on his team. Not saying they're not going to turn the ball over, but they're going to have the ball in their hands less, which means they're going to turn the ball over less. And so I think that dynamic gets them past the Bucks in a 7 game series. I think the West is a gauntlet, man. The West is a gauntlet because it really depends on who you play. It really do. I really believe that the Nuggets could beat the Lakers again if they played, but I don't think stylistically wise that the Nuggets could beat a team like the Warriors. Stylistically wise, because of the pick and roll that they will put Jokic in every single time that they're coming down the court. So I think it could be tougher for him to guard that versus playing man up the way that they played against the Lakers last season. I thought I had it, but when I'm thinking about it now, and I'm like, I don't. It's fucking crazy.
Who are you leaning toward?
Okay, I'm leaning towards the Nuggets, but I don't see them doing it twice. If that makes sense, I don't see them coming out like kind of your logic. I don't see them coming out the West again because there's so many good teams. I,
You're stressed out about this.
I really am because okay, if you put me on a lie detector test, I'm going to say we have a repeat of 2 years ago, Warriors in Boston.
Hmm.
I think if we have a repeat of 2 years ago, which I believe we will, I believe the outcome will be Boston winning. And I think Jason Tatum is MVP. So that's what I will go with for now. But again, guys, this will change. 100% will. And so I have Boston over the Warriors in the NBA Finals with Jason Tatum winning MVP.
Well, for what it's worth, the Bucks and the Celtics are tied for the best odds at plus 380 to win the whole thing, followed by the Nuggets, Suns, Lakers, Warriors, and then there's a pretty major drop off after that.
None of us picked Phoenix. Why?
I
Why are we not believing in this Phoenix team as of right now?
I don't think they get. I don't. To put it into like one sentence, they won't get enough stops.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think that's a
defense.
team. I think that's a team that can compete for Western Conference Finals berth, but it's hard for me to pick them over the Nuggets or the Lakers. And if it was the Warriors, I think that's kind of a 50-50 bet. But I definitely feel comfortable picking the Nuggets over them for sure.
I have no. I don't think Phoenix could beat those three teams. I don't believe they could beat the Warriors. I don't believe they could beat the Nuggets. I don't believe they could beat the Lakers. I do think when the dust settles, despite record aside, I do think it's going to come down to those three teams. And I do believe it's going to be because of matchup. I believe the Lakers favor more against the Warriors than they do the Nuggets because of matchup. I believe the Lakers could beat the Nuggets. The Lakers could beat the Warriors again in a 7 game series because of stylistically wise. But I do believe the Lakers can lose to the Nuggets and the Warriors can beat the Nuggets because of styles. So I really do think that the West will come down to matchups. If they get an ideal matchup, if the Warriors get an ideal matchup, they can win the whole thing. If the Lakers get an ideal matchup, they can win the whole thing. And that goes for the Nuggets as well. So the West to me is really about styles. More so not the less likely of the East, because I do think the East is going to come down to those two teams. And it really depends on who's healthy. I think the West comes down to more schematics, more of how are you your X's and O's? How are you preparing for this team? Because I do think that the Lakers can win it all, but it has to be ideal path for them. Same thing with the Nuggets and the Warriors. I don't think the Nuggets could beat the Warriors in a 7 game series. I'm just going to be clear cut with that. Because of the styles and because of the way that the Warriors play the Nuggets, I don't believe the Nuggets could beat them in a 7 game series. But I do think the Lakers could beat the Warriors because of styles, if that makes sense.
It does make sense, but I think there's a pretty clear path where the Nuggets could beat the Warriors.
Yeah,
No,
we're
I'm
not
not
still
saying it's not
doing the
clear.
we're not still doing the Nikola Jokic pick and roll thing in 2023, right? Like after
I
we
think it
watched
has
him.
when he plays that team. It's something about him being in the pick and roll with Stephen Curry that he has not figured out yet.
Well, the
I've
Warriors
seen
are
it,
one of the least pick and roll heavy teams and offenses in the entire NBA.
but with Chris
So if
Paul, they're going to run it
anyone,
more.
I mean, sure, probably, but like we can't still be doing this. What else do you want from him? He
I
won a
did.
title
We are,
and
but I
a
just,
triple
but also I
double.
can, I can
I
say that, I can say that, and still say the best player in the NBA, in which I did. So I can still say that he has problems with the Warriors system, the way they guard him, and still call him the best player in the league. I
Yeah,
just think they don't match up ideally with the Warriors. I can tell you they much prefer to play the Lakers
yeah.
than the Warriors because of styles. They can match up stylistically with the Lakers. They play big men. They play head to head. The Warriors play the small ball, in which they don't really particularly like guarding. And I can tell you I can't tell you first knowledge, but I can bet you that they would rather play the Lakers than the Warriors because of styles.
So you don't think that there's a world in which, like, I don't know, Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr., like the Nuggets front court that overwhelmed a much bigger team in the Lakers, wouldn't just do the same thing to a team that like doesn't go bigger than 6'8"?
You're playing against a team that constantly moves with a prolific shooter that we've seen multiple times you play against and can't figure out. But I've seen you play in a series against a Laker team that when you match man to man, tall for tall, height for height, that you were able to figure out. But you yet to figure out a guy that's 6'3" that runs around the fucking court all day, every day, like he don't got no home training. It's not about the personnel. It's stylistically the way that the Warriors play stylistically. The Nuggets don't like it. They will prefer to play the way that the Lakers play. They will prefer to play a team like that. And I'm not saying that I'm not poo pooing and saying the Nuggets, the Warriors are just exponentially better than the Nuggets. I'm saying that the way that the Warriors play, the Nuggets do not like. They haven't figured it out yet.
I think putting Jokic in the pick and roll is a factor, but it's not something that you just come in and say they can't figure it out. The Warriors win that series, no question about it.
Mm.
I think in that if that series were to happen, both teams would have a hard time stopping the other. I mean, Tune,
Yes,
like you mentioned, the Nuggets overwhelmed the Lakers and the Miami Heat, and the Warriors are significantly smaller than both of those teams. So I feel like if they were in that series, both teams would probably be able to get what they want. It'd just come down to who's more consistent, who's healthier, who can get more stops.
but,
I think that's a series that could go either way, but I would
but
lean.
look at this, Trash. We mentioned the Lakers.
Yeah,
And we're mentioning Miami. But those styles make fights. Those styles are kind of similar. the way that they approach the game, the way that they want to get a shot, the way that the Lakers want to play inside with Anthony Davis, the way that the Nuggets want to play inside with Nikola Jokic. They're banging each other, pause, but they're doing it stylistically the way that it matches each other. Look at him. I didn't even want to say pause, but I said it. They're doing it for which it match. The dynamic of the way that the Warriors play, no matter what, no matter if they're how big they are, how undersized they are, it still gives teams a problem. So I'm saying
Oh, it
I'm not
does.
saying that the Nuggets can't figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they can't figure it out. I'm saying up until this point, stylistically, the Nuggets have struggled with the Warriors. That's not me making it up.
No, you're right.
That's
You're
me
right.
looking at
But
the
I
games to see how.
no, you're definitely right. But I
Mhm.
also will say that when that series happened, Jamal Murray wasn't on the court and KCP wasn't on the team yet. So if they were
That's
to mix
Bruce
it
fair.
up,
Brown.
and Jokic has gotten better and Aaron Gordon's got better, so if they do match up, I think it could be a different story.
Hey, we're
That,
starting Facu Campazzo and Austin Rivers. None of this shit is applicable to
that
2023.
look, I'm not. Look, I'm not saying that they don't matter. Like obviously they do. It's second best player, their best player in your team. But I'm saying that the style is still the same. So even though they weren't playing, the style is the same. So I'm not saying whether the Warriors beat them or not, but I'm saying that stylistically it's still the same. So you still have to run the same system that you've been running.
Yeah,
That doesn't
I'm saying
change.
I think Denver is probably more equipped to stop it this year.
That might be the case.